Hello everyone, this is Josh X, and today we continue our expansion of our town of Little York in this episode 10. And well, in last episode, we were able to build this really, I think, good looking airport that it's working really well. If we take a look at the stats, we have enough passengers to go to the next level. We just need to add attractiveness, and I think we can do that today. We can make this a little bit better. The passenger seats, 47 are used, 53 are not used. Most of the traffic is incoming rather than outgoing. We don't have any policies, so we're gonna leave this the beautification a little bit more for later. As always, let's start by making sure there's enough electricity. And I think we're gonna have an issue with that. So let's try to see. We have enough money to build a power plant. In terms of budget, I think it's okay for right now to increase the budget to 90. And I think that's gonna give us a little bit of a bump. We still need to figure out what type of power plant we're gonna put next. Same thing with water and sewage treatment. I think we might need just to build another sewage plant and maybe here. But again, I think for right now we're just gonna increase the budget, and that should help us a little bit. I think we're doing well in that regard. We are also taking a look at this little quote-unquote medium density zone that we were able to do. Remember, the game does not have medium density at all. It has low and high. So the way that I started to do my medium density zones is basically by making sure that we have the policies that block the buildings from going tall. This is the policy, which is the high-rise ban. As you can see, it restricts buildings from being upgraded to the higher towers, which means that it prohibits construction of tall buildings. And as well as zoning for 2 squares deep as opposed to 4 or 3. And I think that works really well. Again, this is the fix that as vanilla and little assets players I ended up doing, and I think that it works really well, and it looks really well too. Of course, this is a European map. So of course things are gonna look a little bit different, but I think that it works really well. For our next map, we will do a tropical one. Again, we still wanna do a really cool park here. And last episode, if I recall correctly, we were able to unlock this square. And for our next milestone, we need to reach 38,000 people for population. So I think that overall we are expanding really well, and I think we should continue. And so one of the things that I want to work on for this episode is to increase the fishing production. As you can see, there's a lot of pollution on this area that little by little we are trying to eradicate, but as long as we have any water outlets, we're gonna have pollution here. So that's another thing that we need to start thinking of, where we are going to put the water treatment plants, because we do need more of those if we want to get rid of these. And of course, this is gonna take a little bit of time. Once we get rid of the outlets, it's gonna take a little bit of time for the water to clean up. So it's not gonna be right away. And even then, I don't think there's any need for us to put anything in here regarding fishing. So I think that's gonna be okay for now. And I do believe that maybe the best area to do fishing will be here. I think that this area is not that interesting in terms of terrain to make it a park or anything similar. So I think that's gonna work really, really well. For right now, I think, unfortunately, I don't think I'm gonna be able to create an exit here. We might be able, we might not. I do want to have a dedicated exit because that way there's no traffic coming on this side or this side, and I think that's gonna help a lot. So let me see what I can do, and let's speed it up. Well, I think that it's working really, really well. I mean, not right now, but I think it looks good enough. Again, if we had some tools at our disposal, which we could, but we don't, we could try to make this a little bit more even. But I think that overall it's good enough. I think that it works really well, and I actually look how all the trees in here look. I think it's a really nice place. As for where we are going to put our fishing buildings and whatnot, I think that I do want to start from this side and go all around as much as we can, and then hook it up here to this road, and whatever water and electricity needs, I think we're gonna get it from here. So again, I'm not trying to utilize this part here, this little peninsula, if you want to call it, but I think it's gonna work really well. I don't think that this coastline is perfect to do that, but I think it's gonna work for what we want to do. So let's begin. Let's speed it up. always, we need to make sure that we are getting the most of our fishing routes. This one is giving us an efficiency of 62, which is not nearly enough. This one says 0%. I don't know why. Oh, and it's because we put the wrong one. So let's try it again. This was not supposed to be a tuna. It was supposed to be a shellfish. It's there. And that way we're able to create this route as big as it needs to be. Okay, so again, let's take a look at this one is 66, this one is 62. So we do need to increase the size by a lot. So let's see what we can do here. It's always very difficult. Again, it's one of the things that I don't like about this fishing route creation. I wish it was a little bit easier to figure out how much you needed to do. And again, you know, it all depends on what type of product you're trying to fish. Let's see, this might be a little bit too big. But let's wait and see. Well, let's take a look and see how well or bad we did. I think this one is giving us 81%. This one has gone up to still 66, 54. Let's see. Speed it up just a little bit. Now I think this rod might be a little bit too big. We might be able to shorten it just a little bit. I think we can do that. But just a little bit, not too much, because that's gonna not make it work. Maybe that's gonna help. And this one is, I think this one might be just about right. We can make it just a little bit smaller, but I don't want to mess with it. So I think it's fine for now. And this one, it does need to be, let's see how bad this one is. It needs to be a little bit bigger, so let's see what we can do. Okay, so we're gonna follow this little fishing boat. And I think it's gonna be more than enough. It's already over 50%, and we might actually need to go back and make it a little bit smaller. But let's see how well it's gonna do. It's already about 80%. I think it's gonna work really, really well. Definitely, I'm not gonna mess with it anymore. And let's just look at this one. It's going to 80%. Definitely it's gonna work. Yeah, we might wanna mess with them a little bit just to make them less big, but I think that it's gonna work. It's gonna work really well. Let's do this, and this should be fine. So next thing that we need to do is we'll make sure first that this is not messing up. Let's see. There you go. That should be fine. Still not working. I have no idea why. It's so weird. It's actually telling me that there's not enough buyers, so I don't know if there's something wrong. Let's try to hook them up again. Okay, so let's move it here. We're not gonna worry about that right now. Let's make sure there's water. And so things are going pretty well with the production of fish. I think we're okay to put another fish market and another fish factory. I don't know what's going on right now. Let's take a look. We need more services for picking up dead people. I think I'd rather put this first here. Just put it here. And let's make sure that all of the death care facilities are set to random. This one is random, 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 random. I think we have an opportunity here to put this. Okay. And let's just put this one here. And again, let's make sure that it's random. And I think I forgot to make this one random. There you go. There's no pollution. I just think that it's one of the regular death waves that happen in the city. 'Cause we do have elder care, and it's not that bad. We need one here, but we're not gonna worry about it right now. Same thing with childcare. I think we can allow ourselves to put one here. Let's do it here. Yeah, let's do it here. Why not? There's one here, here, and here. And again, I think elder care, we might need to put one here. It's gonna take a lot of space, which is completely fine. I think this is gonna... This might work a little bit better. And we are gonna put some more parking lots. So hopefully that death wave doesn't affect us that much. Again, it's very weird when that happens, but I think we're gonna be doing okay. just for the sake of it, I'm gonna add one more death care facility here. Again, set to random. And let's just make sure that we have enough healthcare. I mean, we have enough. It might not be the best coverage, but I think we're gonna have to change that. For example, I think that here I'm gonna bulldoze this one, and I'm gonna put the large hospital. And 1 and 2. There you go. And again, also we're gonna do this to random. That way we have better coverage overall. Again, unfortunately, death waves happen mainly because the population growth isn't going that well, or just because it just happens that, again, because of the population growth of how everything happened, people are dying altogether. There's a larger population that is. So you can see we have 7% children, 15% teens, adults, and seniors. Seniors make up 25%, which is still a lot. And as you can see, that might be the issue. Why. Otherwise, again, we have good coverage. And just for the sake of it, I'm gonna add another one here and make this the flycar ambulance. Okay, hopefully that fixes our issue, because I don't want to be bulldozing all this stuff here. So I think I am gonna zone a little bit more commercial here, like we used to have, and here. And I think that's gonna be able to fix some of these demand for density. I also think that in here we can put our fish factory. I mean, we can even put it here. Well, not here, but yeah, I think it's gonna work well if we put it here. And let's make sure to smooth out the terrain. Just a little bit, just to make sure it doesn't look that odd. There's no water and no electricity. We can fix the water really quick here. There you go. And the electricity, again, I'm just gonna put a little parking lot, and there you go. That should fix it. And also, I think it would be a good idea to put a little warehouse for the goods that this is gonna produce. So let's put this to commercial zone goods. And again, little by little, things are gonna be working for this little factory. We do have one fish market here. That's about it. We have another one here. And I think it would be a good idea to have another one here. Mostly because I think that as a tourist place, you would want to have this fish market also close to the sea where everything is being caught. So I think it's gonna work really, really well. Again, death care, it's going pretty well. I think things should be fixed in no time. There is a mod that destroys, that bulldozes all the abandoned buildings. But since we're not using any mods, this is something that we don't have, so we have to do it manually. I think it's better to do it and not wait for things to get rebuilt, because sometimes things work and sometimes they don't work the way that you want it to. But again, we were able to catch this before it got really out of control, because once it gets out of control, it's very difficult to fix it fast and easy. So I don't think there's any more abandoned buildings. And I think this little fishing zone is working really, really well. Again, we have issues with not enough buyers for the fish, which is why we have both the fish factory, which we might want to move here. I don't think it would be a bad idea. You know what we should do? We should be able to do that. We should do it here. Let's make sure that there's... There you go. I think that it makes a little bit more sense. I know that most of the commercial area is there, but I think it's gonna make a whole lot more sense if we put it here, as well as this storage warehouse. And we're gonna put these two empty. Again, one of the complaints that a lot of people have, that yes, it's fixed in a way by mods, is the fact that these that the logistics of the raw materials and how they're processed is not as perfect. For example, I mean, if there's not enough buyers, you have to export it, and it's not as easy as it looks for the game to do it, you know. So there's some mods that allow you to do logistics in a better way, but again, it's not that easy. As you can see, we are exporting fish. Maybe it's not as much, but we are doing so. And you can see the trucks going all around. So that's a pretty good sign. Another thing that we might be able to do soon, hopefully in the next episode, is to finally plop down some harbors. We want the passenger harbor and we want the cargo harbor, which I don't know where we're gonna put them. I think in here it would be a good idea for both of them. I think that it's gonna work really, really well, especially because all the fishing routes are not interfering with it. And even later on, I think we're gonna be able to deal with this on this side. We might be able to put another passenger harbor here. So that's for our next episode. Definitely, I think this is gonna be the place to put it for now. Again, we have more space on this side, but that's a little bit more tricky, especially because we need an avenue. I do think this is gonna work really, really well, but again, it's gonna get just a little bit tricky to do it, but it's gonna work fine. I do want a passenger harbor here, another one here, and the cargo harbor here, and I think that it's gonna work really, really well. Maybe the passenger harbor that we have here, we can move it later to another place, but I think it's gonna work fine again for right now. Again, we're still seeing, unfortunately, abandoned buildings, but again, that happens every once in a while. You know, we all have dead waves that things work well. Again, you know, we have enough dead care to take care of all the deceased, and things are gonna work just fine. I might. It doesn't fit here, but it definitely fits. It definitely fits here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this here again, make it random, and just enclose this really quick so that we are able to have another cemetery. And I think things are gonna work really, really well. I think that we were able to create a really cool fishing area here. And I think that it's gonna work for the growth of this town. I think that we're able to expand a little bit more. And as such, because we accomplished what we were set out to do, which is create another bigger and more efficient with no pollution fishing area, we were able to do it here. We have fishing, we have the fishing buildings or the harbors, and we have the farms for the fish. And they are working really well. As we can see, we are getting fish, we're taking it to commercial goods, and we are emptying it out. So I think for the export, which is mostly regular goods, which is actually very interesting for the imports. But as for the exports, I think it's gonna be growing little by little. And if possible, we are going to expand all this little peninsula as much as we can up to this area, which is where our touristy zone is at. That's when we are going to finish. And we are going to be fine. Maybe we can do another fish factory. I don't know, but we will look into it a little bit later. So this is the end of episode 10. We were set out to do a fishing area, and I think we were able to accomplish that. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, or suggestions, make sure to leave them in the comment section below. As always, thank you for liking this video, commenting, and subscribing. We'll see you next time with episode 11. Thank you.